Welcome back to Conflict of Interest, and we left off discussing the ETS and Rudd's announcement that the government will be delaying it for at least a year, and that the target is at 5%, and the government will agree to a 25% cut, but providing the talks in Copenhagen achieve consensus.
Which will not happen.
No, hell will freeze over before that happens.
It's really
Rudd knows that, everybody knows that.
So what he's really offering is a 5% cut.
Absolutely.
Well, that's...
And he's trying to have his cake and eat it too by showing that he's really serious about climate change and kind of calling the other countries bluff in a way by saying, we'll do 25%, but only if you do.
You must be bitterly disappointed in this.
I am. I'm not denying that. I think climate change is an incredibly serious problem. And I think that if we don't act quickly, well, the science says if we don't act in the next 5 to 10 years, then we are stuffed. And I subscribe to that view. I mean, that's what most climate scientists are saying, the 95% of climate scientists, the majority.
I just think it's wonderful what Rudd's doing, because he's screwing you guys.
Why
because
is that wonderful?
If he delays it for a year or maybe 2 years, because I don't think in 12 months' time we're going to be out of the economic woods by a long shot.
Not at all.
So we won't be, if we can't afford it now...
There will never be a convenient time to do this,
no.
And now it's even more inconvenient.
So we have to go... So we won't be able to do it in a year's time or 2 years' time because the economy will be in a bad shape. But next year we won't be able to do it because we're emerging from the recession.
And we can't tamper with that.
We don't want to... So, and he, at some point in all that, he has an election.
Now, of course, this ETS won't be delivered until after the election now, and the original promise was to deliver it before the election.
So it's a total cop-out.
Absolutely.
And a cynical one at that, a dishonest, cynical cop-out.
It really is, because, as you said before, the spending on defence, which is unprecedented, we haven't had... It's the biggest amount of spending on defence
since World War II.
The white paper that's been released over the weekend.
So how can you afford that, but he can't afford the global warming
Where
stuff?
are our priorities? I mean, honestly, is China a threat? Are we about to be invaded by anyone in particular at this present time? No.
Well, Fiji. Fiji,
if it doesn't sink first. I mean, honestly, climate change is the clear and present danger
I just think it's wonderful. I think that you've worked hard, you guys have worked hard to get Rudd elected. You've said how horrible and terrible John Howard was.
But this is Howard's ETS.
You've now got your Prime Minister, and you've got your chosen government, you've got the lovely Penny Wong.
Who was looked promising at the start. She did so well at Bali. She was praised for her
and they've screwed you,
negotiating skills, and
they've absolutely
the result
you.
Is pretty gutting. It really is.
They've abandoned you.
The really sad thing is, though, that the coverage of the ETS and the announcement today was overshadowed by talk about the Logies.
And Gretel Colleen's hair.
Her short hair.
Is that right?
Apparently that was a talking point. She wore wigs for weeks beforehand to throw the paparazzi off the scent of her new haircut.
Well, that's incredible.
This is important stuff.
And is that more important than ETS, do you think?
I don't think so, but the public might disagree.
So you'd be able to confidently say that the whole of the left and the Greens and everyone at Crikey would be bitterly disappointed
I'm not speaking on behalf of everyone at Crikey,
okay.
But I could safely say that, well, the Greens have already come out and said that they're bitterly disappointing. No, not at all. But
your dog
the
and your
Greens and anyone who is at all remotely interested in combating climate change
would all be bitterly
disappointed.
Well, I think that's fantastic. That makes me feel really good.
I'm glad that makes you feel all warm and fuzzy inside.
I just think it's fantastic.
I'm glad, Peter.
Because I think climate change is the biggest fraud I've ever heard of.
Okay, well, under this scheme, we will be achieving absolutely nothing, so you should be very pleased.
I am extremely pleased.
And you along with the coal industry. The coal industry have achieved their objective. They've been lobbying furiously behind the scenes to achieve more and more concessions under this scheme. They were already getting away with murder, and this is a complete furphy.
I've got nothing to do with the coal industry. I don't give a stuff about them, but I do give a stuff about us changing our way of life just because of your green religion.
So when you say change your way of life, does this mean
we're
not taking the car out, switching off the light, having a quicker shower?
Yeah, I mean, I pay my taxes. If I want to have a shower for half an hour, I'll have a shower for half an hour.
Do you not see, even if you don't believe in man-made climate change or global warming though,
Which I don't.
what about the merits of sustainability? Can you
What does
accept,
sustainability
Can
mean?
you accept that we have
What's it
a
mean?
limited amount of resources and
yes.
that we have an increasing population
Yes.
and that therefore we need to take that
And
into account
we need more energy.
and consume less?
Yes. And I've
You
got
do
the
agree
answer.
with that?
Yes.
Well, then you're a greenie at heart.
No.
There's hope for you
Well,
yet.
I am. Look, I agree with all those things completely.
Well, then you need to have a shorter shower.
But I have a solution.
Okay.
Nuclear power.
Right.
You see, that's the solution. I know it's a wedge, but it's also is the solution.
Well, it was a wedge in Howard's day, but I think that should be on the table along with everything else. I think we are so desperate at this stage.
Well, let's have nuclear
for
power.
a fast solution that it's
if you've
worth
been to
talking
Japan,
about nuclear. But
they've
what
got
about
nuclear
wind
power.
and
France
solar? What about
but
wind,
they
solar?
can never generate enough.
These are all industries that have the potential for massive growth, especially in this country.
Yeah,
We've made leaps and bounds in this area when it comes to technology, and we're driving everyone offshore.
I'd build a nuclear power generator in each state. And as soon as you open that, you shut down the coal industry.
It takes time.
All
That
right,
takes decades, and we don't have that kind of time.
Then you shut down the coal industry. But that's the long-term solution.
Well, we do need to shut down the coal industry.
Okay, but that's the long-term solution, isn't it?
Under this ETS, we're going nowhere near shutting
well,
down
my
the coal
solution
industry.
is better. You prefer my solution to Rudds.
I agree that we should discuss nuclear, that it should be on the table, but that should be alongside a whole host of other solutions.
I don't have a problem
and
with,
alternative
with
energy
all the
sources.
fiddly alternative, the greeny ones around the edges.
But under this ETS, they won't even get a look in. It's business as usual under this ETS.
Well, I'd like to see coal go, and I'd like to see it replaced by nuclear energy.
Okay,
And if I was I've been saying this for years. And if I was Prime Minister, I'd have an Australian car,
right,
like Hitler had with the Volkswagen, the people's car.
Would it be a hybrid? Would it be a hybrid?
No, it would be an electric car.
Right, okay.
Power would be free because of the nuclear energy.
You're a greenie at heart, just like
Well,
Obama.
I mean, what's wrong with that?
Well, we need to talk about Obama because the President of the United States is actually setting the bar quite high when it comes to...
Or quite to the left, I think we see it laterally.
It depends on how you look at it, but in terms of emissions targets, he's...
But I think most things, isn't it? I think isn't he a bit of an embarrassment to Rudd?
I think so, because if you look at the amount of time that Rudd has taken to backpedal on this issue is minuscule. Now, Obama is still talking about serious cuts, and look at the state of America's economy.
Well, look, let's come back to that.
Obama can afford to do that. Why can't we?
I know you need another sip of scotch. Let's come back.
It's killing
We'll be
me.
back to that in a moment.